Hello, everybody. Welcome back to New York Talk. This is the Scout Report, and it's time to look ahead to the FA Cup first round weekend with Swindon Town, the League Two team. We're probably going to continue our terrible record in the FA Cup. We have JR joining us from the Loathed Strangers podcast. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, I'm all good. I think we might have a more terrible record in the FA Cup than yourselves. At least you've hit that third round a bit more often than us. The first round exit is a bit of a Swindon tradition, but I don't mind if it's a team in the higher division. I don't mind. We've had some egg on the face exits. We had a 7-4 against Aldershot a couple of seasons ago that I don't think many of us have really recovered from. But yeah.
I don't think we've won a FA Cup game in 3 years, and we haven't beaten a league team in the FA Cup in I think 6 or 7 years. It's really bad. So we've got the competition of the two worst FA Cup teams. It's by the sounds of it, which could be fun.
This will explain why they were selling tickets like £14 then, right?
Exactly. Tell me about Swindon Town. How things was a long time since we played each other. Right now this season, things are looking quite well.
They are looking quite well. Ian Holloway has managed a whole calendar year, and he's the first person to manage that since Richie Wellens. And he's not that far away. I think he was living fairly locally. Turned the fortunes around last year, where it was looking a bit perilous under Mark Kennedy, and has steered the ship quite well. And he seems to have, the higher ups ear in terms of how to run a football club, which I think maybe we've not done particularly well. The only thing that's concerning is in the last few weeks we were still in the top two, but we had a hammering away to Accrington. Then we've been held the last two games against, not counting Colchester, who probably expect to be in those playoff places. It's hard to really gauge what to take from them. And then last night we went kamikaze with the squad that we put out in against West Ham under-21s, which in an exercise when you're preparing for a cup game and having to shelve the league form, in some ways it's remiss to to disasterize it, but you have to kind of raise an eyebrow and just be sure that when you get back to the league form that we can kick on. We've got a deeper squad this year. There's no reason why we couldn't. There have been some off the field strangeness, and I do wonder if that's having a knock-on effect. It's like every workplace. If things start change around upstairs in the boardroom, even if you're told it doesn't directly affect you, it does have a knock-on effect, and I do have half a cynical eye on that.
Okay, fair enough. Just touch on Ian Holloway. I remember when he came in, watching from afar, things seemed quite bitter to start with. I remember having pops at fans and things like that. Has he completely turned it around and fans are on side, or is there still a bit of oddness about with the whole relationship?
It is an odd relationship because I think that overall people are very appreciative of the work that he's doing, but fans still do get a pop and a tongue lashing. They got criticised for, I think there was a pocket of booze after the Colchester game, which was a drab 0-0, and those kind of things will always happen. He does seem a bit like averse to criticism, and we had a bit of a protest movement against the chairman over the last year that's kind of gone through, but those same people who are protesting were still attending games and things like that, and very much had a frontage of saying that we're supporting the team and not the regime, but still taking that person. The general consensus seems to be that he's doing a good job. I find that we all hear like the Ian Holloway sound bites and things that could fill the toilet book, and there's the funny side of him. It's interesting. I've heard a lot of the press conferences like unedited through covering the show, because I do that with a guy either on the BBC radio or with the local paper. So you get the unedited ones, and they are just like thought forms. I think he is somebody who just says how he feels in the moment. I think that's just the kind of person he is.
Yeah, it is. And look, from it's interesting, isn't it? If nothing else, he is an interesting person to listen to. Okay. We've had our run-ins in the past with him, not positive ones from our side or his side, to be honest. But let's move on to more specifically you guys this season. Like I said, second place. Talk me through some players and your setup under Ian Holloway. Has he changed much over the years? Or is it still classic Ian Holloway?
I think he's kind of found his own groove in terms of that you'll tend to play three at the back and have your wing backs bombing up and down. He tends to choose like unconventional in terms of in that defensive midfield role. We've had Tom Nichols play there, who of course is a striker. He's played a little bit like a shadow or a number 10 towards the end of last year, but he's been put in defensive midfield. I don't know particularly why. He likes playing Ollie Clark, who's better suited to that as a centre back. And he tends to like to have a lot of forwards going. He's got a system he likes to call Stack 'em and Rack 'em, where once he's brought his forward line on and they've exhausted themselves by about the 70th minute, to bring three fresh forwards on to continue to kind of pile that pressure on. I'm not sure, looking at just having skimmed through of like October and watching Rotherham highlights, I'm not sure that kind of Stack 'em and Rack 'em system, as he likes to call it, is necessarily going to work, because from what I can get, and admittedly these are just from a couple of minute highlights of things, Rotherham seem to kind of sit off and like turn the screw. And if I think that they're playing as I'm getting from the highlights packages, then they'd be right to exploit a system like that.
I think so, yeah. We certainly the last month or so, we've kind of turned everything up a notch. We seem to be dealing with everything pretty well. We're defensively really, really sound at the minute. It was a real problem start of the season, but we've just solidified everything at the minute. We've got Sam Nombe back, and he'll probably his first start since the second game of the season, and he's one of the best strikers at this level. So I would hope that we can. This is the wrong time of the season to be playing us on paper, as it should be. But it's the FA Cup. We'll make changes. You'll make changes. I'm sure we won't be one of the only surprises. It'll be a surprise to Rotherham fans if we win. Never mind a few guys beat us from the lower league. It'll be a surprise for us. Because of there. So, who's going to play? Who are the danger men to watch out for Swindon Town? You mentioned there's the strikers that are going to come on and play. Who are the key ones that could hurt us?
So key strikers, really. I mean, we lost Harry Smith at the start of the season. It was, of course, the team was kind of built to service him on the form they had last year, and then unfortunately he's got a ruptured hamstring and won't be with us for the rest of the season. Aaron Drinnan is the top scorer, I believe, still in League Two. Has got over double figures already. So if he's in form and available, he'll be very useful. Paul Glatzel is somebody who's kind of blown hot and cold. He's ex-Liverpool academy, and he's got a lot of love in the fan base. If he gets utilised, he's very useful. We've got a striker, Prince Willa Bachaman from Southampton, brother of Kelvin at Reading, who's very quick and very tricksy. Billy Bodin and Ollie Palmer, both in their twilight years. These are not bad people to have kind of in reserves. And what at the back, Finney Munro from Aston Villa. I don't know his fitness status. Hoping to get some good news tomorrow, but he's very cool. Likes to whip in crosses, can put a free kick in. And we've got a few people who are kind of in defensive who can be dangerous at set piece. So there's lots of threats to worry about, but we are a bit wobbly at the back. We had Ryan Tafazoli join from Wickham, and he's quite a fan of media content himself, but he's uploaded his video of his first Swindon game against Bromley, and I like a centre-back who can kind of marshal everybody else. But this clip of him, like 10 minutes of him being mic'd up, he can see so much like in front of him. It's really, and he's so vocal that not having someone who's got a few people who can lead a bit like that, but maybe not to that reach of the whole pitch. And if he was available, he would be a key influence in that, I feel.
Yeah, we found out with leaders this year. We've signed a lot of youngsters, lacked leadership, and that it's last 5 or 6 games there seems to be something clicked in terms of leadership team. So I know the feeling of having lack of leaders. We're very much experts on that the last 2 or 3 years. Let's finish on how you think the game's going to go, and if you can, your score prediction for the FA Cup first round.
I think it might be quite tight. I'm hoping it'll be quite tight. I think if we go for the kind of approach that we had yesterday in the Virtue Trophy, it'll be disastrous. So we want to kind of avoid that. We need to go with something. As I said, if we go out to a team in League One, we're in League Two, there's no shame in that. We've had exits to non-league sides, and that's real egg on your face stuff. So I would hope that we could manage to keep it quite tight. If we can keep it to like a 2-1 loss, because I think that form probably favours yourselves more than us, if I'm honest. But a good showing, I think, is maybe that, take-home points would be more important in terms of getting back to that form and going back into the league. So it's not necessarily a negative to take a early exit and lick our wounds and have lots of learning points, really.
Yeah, I think pickups like that. You can take if you lose to a team out, you can certainly take plenty of positives from it. I hope that's the case. One thing about us this year, certainly the last five games, we've come from 2-0 down twice and come from 1-0 down once as well. So there's finally a bit of character in this team. So who knows? Could be extra time and penalties. It's one of those days, isn't it? There's no replays.
Could be.
So we'll have to wait and see on that one. Thank you very much, Jar. We'll put the links to the Loathed Strangers in the show notes. So if anyone wants to check out some Swindon content, please do so on there. Please, everybody, make sure you keep subscribing on YouTube because we're creeping up to 2,000, about 50 or so, we have 2,000 subscribers. So please do so if you haven't done so already, and give the video a thumbs up as well. We will see everybody next time. Thank you all for watching, and as always, up the Millers.